Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Entrepreneurs Lounge. And as usual, I'm shooting at the beautiful Daughters Home and Exclusive Furniture. Now today, my first guest is CEO and founder of software development company WebThink Africa, Jeremy Kabaya. You're very welcome to the show, Jeremy.
Thank you very much, Ingrid.
WebThink Africa. The first thing that comes to mind is something techie, something app building. Tell me about your business.
So, WebThink Africa is a software development company that started 5 years ago, based in Nairobi, hoping to expand, of course. And, so basically what we do is develop bespoke software for startups and SMEs, well, some corporates. And basically that's because I started this company because there was a niche for, coming up with software. Like, for example, you find that the software for, Microsoft analytics and stuff like that are quite expensive for, just the regular startup. Yeah, so, just being able to come up with solutions that favor people who are starting up and people who are just, growing in the market. Yeah.
You started 5 years ago when you were still in school.
Yes.
A lot of people, when they're in school, they're really just trying to focus on their coursework, just trying to get into the next party and, go home at the end of the day. As someone who's still in school doing this, how did this idea come to you?
So, I don't know. So when I started this company, I was rather before I started it, I was actually employed for at a media company, and I was tasked with the solution of being able to deploy their website and their digital marketing. And this is a well-known company, but their brand, the branch that I was working for, in particular, had only 2 likes on the Facebook page and no online web presence. So, as I was building, I was able to, once I finished building the site and building their Facebook page, and just, that time Instagram wasn't there, so I think we were able to garner more than 2,000 likes in a week. Yeah, and on their website, I think we achieved almost 500, five or 600 views, yeah, in the same week. So, if I just thought it out. If I was able to achieve this for a big company like this, and but a small department, why wouldn't I be able to do it for budding entrepreneurs?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's how the idea came up. So that's how I actually got into campus to do that course, and study as I was doing my studies, because of course whatever I learned in campus is quite different from whatever I'm doing right now. Yeah.
So as an entrepreneur, and who said you picked up whatever interest or you realized that gap while working for this big company, my question then is, you obviously tried your hand out at employment.
Oh, yes. Yes.
What key lessons would you say you picked out from employment that are helping you on your entrepreneurial journey today? Or does it not matter at all? Do you wish you had just started off as an entrepreneur to begin with?
To be very honest, I don't know. There's some advantages and disadvantages towards being an entrepreneur and also being an employee, of which, of course, the entrepreneur side is even, there are more advantages as compared to being an employee. Because when you're an employee, you're just tasked with, or let me just put it for a shorter term for it all. You're being micromanaged, so to say, because not many companies actually use the lean method of being able to grow their businesses. And you as an employee, you're just confined to a certain, perspective that you will do this, 1, 2, 3, 4. When your day is done, go home. That's definitely not happening when you're an entrepreneur, because you wake up, you think of the idea, and you run with it. Yeah, you do market research. You do, you're tasked with all this, and that's the difference. That's the advantage that comes with it, because you find that many people don't want to do this. They don't want to uh, go early mornings, late nights, in trying to being able to come up with these solutions. And just being able to build yourself as an entrepreneur is one thing that has really taught me. And to be very honest, I would recommend others to choose the entrepreneurial path.
Perfect. So this software development world is either one that people don't fully grasp what it's about. That's why we're seeing a lot of organizations, like you said, struggle when it comes to that area. But it's also one at the moment that's heavily saturated. So as someone in this space, how do you go about this, the publicity and making sure that your organization, WebThink Africa, is the one that stands out?
Now, I would say, like for example now, or rather, for instance, one thing that every entrepreneur, or rather every business, be it a startup, be it an SME, be it a corporate, one thing that you should be able to put in your business plan, because you have to come up with a business plan, definitely as an entrepreneur, you need to be able to include lots and lots of marketing. In fact, 70% of your budget
Should be marketing.
should be purely marketing. Yeah. And if you have the niche of, like now, like for example, now when it started, it was just purely websites. Yes, I still do websites and mobile apps a bit, but just being able to branch into one or two services that achieve the purpose of being able to help out small companies. Now, like for me, for example, for myself, I'm leaning more towards into the e-commerce sector, and a lot of into the Internet of Things, which is two markets that are really growing right now. Yeah, and once you have the niche, the product, and your marketing is in point, you will be able to succeed.
That's beautiful advice. Now, it's been a 5-year journey from when you started out as a young man
Yes.
on campus to here you are right now today.
Thank you.
In terms of challenges,
Yes.
what have been your greatest challenges on this path of entrepreneurship, where you tell that young child out there in campus, this is what you're going to expect, but this is how you're going to get through it as well?
Yes. So, I'm glad you asked that question. Um, I mean, being an entrepreneur has lots of challenges. One day you'll win, one day you'll lose, and when you lose, by the way, you will lose big time. Okay, and when you win, you will win big time, right? So, one of the challenges that I've really had myself is when I lost a project within the 6-figure range, and it was ongoing. And yes, I was halfway.
How did that even happen?
Well, yes. So, well, let me say one of my team members literally ran away with the whole project, and the whole, the whole backup and everything. So I had to literally start from scratch. And now this is where I'll encourage young entrepreneurs. You see, you'll come up with such challenges, and you'll be like, oh, does this thing work out for me? Should I just go back to employment? Don't give up. That's I mean, for me, just being able to formulate a solution within the instant was my because at the end of the day, you're serving clients. Yeah, you want to be the best at the industry, and whatever whatever you have is what you run with, and you should be able to have. And this is another thing that you should be able to also set up in your business plan. So what happens when you have a fallback? How do you be able? How are you able to pick up the business? I mean, yes, it will cost money, but at the end of the day, you know, just being able to recover from that as soon as, because yes, there are days you will sit and literally be depressed. Like for myself in that situation, yes, I came up with the solution, but
It was in a process. You went through all the emotions.
yes, I mean,
To stress.
I mean, I was even considering, going for counseling for depression. Yeah, so that's how deep it was. Because, I mean, just losing something in the six-figure range, yeah, but
However, you said on the flip side, when you lose big, the chances of winning big
yes,
are also there.
yes,
So greatest achievement on this 5-year journey. I would like that one thing that consoles you and makes you feel like, you know what, I lost those 6 figures, but it's okay because then I gained this.
yes. So right now, I can proudly say that WebThink has reached the stage where we are actually, you know, building software for international clients. Um, like, actually, just 1 month after that incident happened, my biggest client came from Vancouver, in Canada. Yeah. So I was able to deploy the solution, and we in fact it's actually still ongoing right now. So just being able to, you know, pick up from those pieces, and because yes, you'll have those challenges, but when a challenge like this comes up your way, I mean, you give yourself a pat on the back as an entrepreneur, like, wow. I mean, I have actually been able to achieve this in this span of time. And by the way, at that time, the company was just 2 years old. No, 3, sorry. It was 3 years older by then. Yeah, but
Okay, so with that all being said, when you talk to a lot of entrepreneurs, one of the biggest things they'll say is like, what has pulled me through, what has really been helpful for me on this entrepreneurial journey is a mentor. I've had someone to hold my hand through it. I've had someone to give me advice. I've had someone to tell me, no, don't do it this way, do it that way. In your own personal experience running your business, how important is a mentor? And are they just not important? If you have your vision, you have your money, you have your business, you're just fine.
I'll take this in the human perspective first of all, so that I can be able to drive my point home. Yeah, you might have the idea, you might have the biggest business plan, you might have the biggest amount of funding, but as a human, you find some challenges that and you beat your chest and you're like, why should I need this now? Because you're comfortable, you have that pride, you're an entrepreneur. Why do I need a mentor? A mentor is the most important thing, and I came to notice that, in fact, when I had that snag. Because a mentor is able to encourage you, guide you, and just give you the way forward and the steps of being able to grow your business, and not having that pride in you. Rather, you have that pride in your business that you have reached this far, but you can be able to go 2 steps ahead. Yes.
That's a very, very beautiful and motivating story. Well, that was my first entrepreneur, Jeremy Kabaya, CEO and founder of WebThink Africa. And if his story has not inspired you, then I'm really not sure what will. However, I have to take a very, very quick break, but do not go anywhere, because when I come back, I have an even more inspiring guest. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the second part of Entrepreneurs Lounge. And just like my first guest, my second guest is the director of a software development company, Tech Mechanics, and he's none other than Tom Morioki. You're very welcome to the show, Tom.
Thank you.
It's very, very interesting. We've never really had guests who both do the same thing. So I'm very, very excited to have this conversation to see how the stories differ. So Tech Mechanics, tell me about your company.
Tech Mechanics was incorporated in 2016. So it's relatively a new company. So basically it was an accidental kind of journey whereby where I was employed, there were so many manual processes taking place. So we used to have a lot of problems, a lot of backlogs. So it used to make me angry. Anything that makes me angry, I'm always pushed to change.
To find a solution.
To find a solution instead of just whining like the other employees. So that's where the idea came in, because now I started automating simple processes for the company. Then I discovered it's not only my company, or rather our company, which is suffering the same fate. So out there, so many people don't know actually that they need some kind of automation taking place, especially in today's age, whereby everything is being digitized. Look at the government, so whether you like it or not, whether you are a software person or not, these are the things that you have to do it. You have no choice.
Right.
Yes.
So when you speak of automation, who exactly are we looking at as your client base? Are you looking at this big corporation? Are you looking at this company that already has structure? Or are you even looking at this small supermarket owned by, a single person? Who exactly are you looking at as your potential clients?
My potential client is, our clients are not based on the size.
Right.
It could be a 3-person company, it could be a corporate. Okay? So what we actually look at is, we look at your key processes. And we look at what is very key that needs to be done, whether there are people there or not. What is supposed to be automated, okay? For instance, if I can take an example of doctors' furniture, but I haven't done any research on them. But from the way I look at things, if I was maybe the marketing person, I will try and automate such a way that any customer who comes in here, I get their details automatically, their contact details and all that. Together with now, of course, now making them feel welcomed and feel at home. So that now we create a sort of a system whereby we can now start following up and see whether the client is a right fit for us or not. So the automation can be anything. We can even automate, we can even measure employees' happiness in a company. Yes. So it's a matter of just giving the company what we can do. So now they discover. As I said, some companies don't know what they're suffering from. Yes.
So now, one thing I asked my guest who came in before you is the software development field is one that seems to have a lot of players. Because usually, well, at least from my experience, when you meet a lot of people, they'll say they're doing software development, which you'd think would also increase the competition. So as Tech Mechanics, what do you do differently? How do you deal with competition in this market that you're playing in?
It's a very good question. First of all, competition doesn't scare me.
Okay.
In fact, if you see a lot of people going to that direction, it means there's already proof of concept. Right. Okay? Because there's no point of you being the only one who does whatever you are doing. It won't make sense. It means there's no market for that. So for us, when we started, we were sort of a general IT company. We will do support, we will do websites, we will do anything IT. We will even sell printers and computers. So with time, we sort of niched a bit, and now focused on the custom-made software. So our software is not off the shelf. So because we realized most SMEs actually have very unique processes whereby they cannot get an off-the-shelf solution for their problems. So the way I differentiate myself is we strictly do custom-made. software, and we focus on SMEs and startups, basically. Those are our key areas. Yes.
You've mentioned something that has really stood out for me. You said that when you started out, you're pretty much doing everything. You had your hand into selling printers, into IT support, into doing a million things. And I've had also a lot of people who are in business say that. My question, and then you finally decided, you know what, let me just get a niche, focus on this, do it very well. My question is, when it comes to diversification as an entrepreneur, what advice would you give? Because some people will say, no, I want to do a million things, I want to do all this. Would you say it's a good thing to diversify, or would you say, stick to one thing, do it well, do it exceptionally, stand out in the eyes of your audience?
Diversification must be done. No one knows the future. Okay? So my advice would be try it out. I usually have a mantra: rapid experimentation. Do something quick, do something fast. Then measure. Will it work? Will it not work? I did this, I sold the hardwares, the printers. Previously, I never sold. So I was also not sure whether this will work. So I just dived in and got my hands dirty. Right. So within a very short period, I could see this is working for me. Am I really enjoying it or not? So I didn't enjoy it personally. I didn't like, carrying around printers on my back and all that, and the support. So I think the key thing is you can try it out. There's no one who said you cannot try it out. But also, always measure. Always measure. If you're trying something, always have a quick way of measuring. Okay. Yes, if it is, let's say you want to do networking, get some clients, do it fast, then see. Are you enjoying it? Is it bringing results? Because what matters is results. If it worked at that time, if I enjoyed, I would have stuck to it. Who knows? I would have never ventured into the software part. Even on the software part, I tried it out, I enjoyed, I got results. So I focused on that bit. Simple as that. Yes.
So you said you started in 2016. It's been a 3-year journey that started off in employment and ended up in entrepreneurship. What lessons did you pick from employment that you'd say were critical into molding you into the entrepreneur that you are today, or were there none?
I picked a lot of lessons.
I'd like to hear.
1, discipline. 2, your attitude. From the way you talk to the way you dress, everything. Right. Okay? 3, time. Importance of time. Some employees might never understand why their bosses are very strict on time. But from an entrepreneur's point of view, time is money. So that's why you feel so bad when someone is late for work and all that. So time is very key. 4, learning how to be social. Because in employment, from school, you find that you are used to people of your age, okay? Then you get into employment, whereby now, depending now on what you do, you may either interact with employees or with customers. So in my previous employment, I interacted with both employees and customers. So with time, you kind of come to learn about how to interact with customers, especially if your client base deals with all kinds of customers. So you sort of learn how to speak to young people. You learn how to speak to people your own age. You learn how to speak to slightly older people. You even learn how to get social with elderly people, people in their 80s and above. Because if they are target clients, there's a way you have to deal with them. So that social kind of aspect was really key for me, because I didn't know I didn't have it. And that's why you find that millennials sort of suffer a bit in the employment world, because they usually like, these people don't get me, I don't like coming, like dressing like this.
They don't let me get creative enough.
They don't let me get creative
I'm restricted.
But it's more of a mindset change, because remember, it's not about you. It will never be about you. It is about the people that you serve. Exactly, the customer. So if the people that you serve demand that you dress like this, like a bank or a hotel. Bankers are usually sharply dressed. You may not like it, but it is for them. It is for your customers. Okay? So that understanding is what maybe people have to try and get. Yes.
Okay. So now, Tom, with running a business, there's obviously challenges. Unless, of course, this business has been handed to you by daddy. And I'm talking about like family, but even then, I feel like there's still challenges that you'll face. Tech mechanics, what have been your greatest challenges that you faced on this path?
Challenges have been so many. I even don't know which one to start with.
We have time. Get into it.
Um, there's the obvious challenge of financing, although I don't like relying or rather singing a lot about finances. Because when we started, we actually bootstrapped almost everything and used our little money that we had at that time. The other challenge, the biggest challenge that I face is adoption. Most companies that we sort of have served, initially they will resist our solutions because once a company gets accustomed to a certain culture, then here comes Tom trying to change everything. You sort of face a lot. It's uncomfortable for the employees, especially like now we had a client whereby the average age of the employee was 55. And then here I am coming with all these digital solutions. So they were not used to that, okay? They are not accustomed to tech. So that is the biggest challenge I face, and I continually face up to this day, the adoption. So it's more of creating awareness and educating a lot, because I usually educate a lot first before now I market you, so that you also understand what impact I will bring to your business, okay? So I can say that's the greatest challenge. The other challenge will be now the external challenges, the business environment, taxation, infrastructure, the things that we cry to the government, they do for us, okay? So, but personally, I can't do anything just to, vote for the right people and do my civic duty. Right. Yes, so yeah.
Finally, and real quick, if you knew then what you know now, what would you do differently for your company?
Wow. I wish I would market more first, because being a director basically, or being an owner, you're just a marketer, period, nothing else. So I wish I had learned how to market, how to be a better marketer before I started the business, because I learned through my mistakes, okay, my presentation skills, the digital marketing aspect, the traditional marketing that we do. So I wish I had learned that first and all that. And also, I wish I had learned about finances, checking the balance sheet, profit and loss statements, getting to be familiar with the accounting numbers. Because I used to hate accounting, but being a founder, those are the things now you're forced to learn, whether you like it or not. So I wish I was more familiar with the financial aspects of business, especially with the accounting, because it's a very critical component that, unless you have an accounting background, most people do not know. And so many mistakes happen in the accounting. You may find that you've been getting clients, but at the end of the year, you look at your balance sheet, you've actually broke even. Yes. Okay, so and it could be an error in the numbers. Yes, so I think this is another area that I think I should have learned a bit, because I really made a lot of mistakes.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us here today to share your story on Entrepreneurs Lounge. I'm sure you've spoken to 1, 2, 3, a million people out there. Well, that was my second guest, Tom Muriuki, Director of Software Development Company Tech Mechanics. I now have to take a very quick break, but do not go anywhere, because when I come back, we'll come back with a quick fire round. Welcome back to Entrepreneurs Lounge, and you're just in time for our very, very, very exciting round of quickfire. Now, Tom, Jeremy, Jeremy, you got a bit scared. It showed in your face. Yeah, it's as competitive as it does seem. So in this round, Tom, Jeremy, I'll ask you 5 random trivia questions. And today I deliberately focused on geography of the continent. Because from our past episodes, I've noticed my guests don't know too much about. So it's my deliberate wish to embarrass them on set. So I hope you do well in this round. So there are really no rules to this game. 5 random questions. First person to spit out the right answer gets the point. At the end of the round, the person with the highest correct answers is our quick fire round winner. Makes sense? Any questions? Simple enough. Okay, so I'll get right into it. Quick fire question number 1. What is the capital city of Sierra Leone?
Right. Freetown?
Yes. A point to Jeremy. The capital city of Sierra Leone is Freetown. Question number 2. What is Africa's largest country? Oh, yes. Good job. A point to Tom, a point to Jeremy. So right now it's a tie. Question number 3. Which country has the rand as its currency? All right, guys. These ones are easy. You're the wrong crew to ask these questions. A point to Tom. You need to catch up. 2 points to Tom, 1 point to Jeremy, but there's still room. Question number 4. What is the second longest river in Africa? We all know the longest river in Africa is River Nile. So what is the second longest river in Africa?
Zambezi River.
No, close enough. Starts with a Z. I'll give you a hint. It starts with a Z. The country not most recently, but it changed its name from that country. The name with a Z.
Congo River.
No, the old name. River Zaire. So River Zaire. That's the second longest
I
river.
should get half a point because I was...
What do you think? Should he get half a point? What? No? Okay, let me think about it. Still 2 points for Tom, 1 point for Jeremy. Final question. Very easy question, but deciding question. This question decides whether Tom is our quickfire winner or whether it will be a tie. You know what to do, Jeremy. Final question in our quickfire round. What does ANC stand for?
African National Congress.
All right. So this quick fire round, you're like, yeah, no, I'm not going home as the loser today. It's not happening. The good news is there's no winner, there's no loser. We have a tie. You all did very well. You do know your geography. Good job, lads. So it's a tie. You're both our quick fire round winners. Well, that's it from our quick fire round, and thank you very, very much for watching this episode of Entrepreneurs Lounge. And as usual, we've been filming at Dotage Home and Exclusive Furniture. Do join us again next week, next time. Metropole TV. I'm your host, Ingrid Nantege.